So, we are back with another episode of Our Own Devices with Nandagopal Rajan. And this time, our guest is Aditya Munjal, at least a surname that does not need introduction. But this Munjal is after a different set of bikes. We'll come to that. So, we are basically going to talk about e bikes in India. And e bikes is a new segment, but it's a segment that is getting a lot of visibility, and people are more and more aware of this. There's a lot to talk about here. Aditya, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
So, Aditya, I'll start with a small anecdote. So, I have a 10-year-old son, and I was checking out the Hero Lectro, and he asked me this very strange but very poignant question: is that see, Dad, I know that an electric car it saves petrol, but what does an electric bike save on? And really, I did not know the answer to that initially. And I did the review, and then I had a little bit of an idea about okay, where does this fit in? But as somebody who's selling this product, what's your answer to that question?
Depends who I'm answering. Let's say I'm speaking to your 10-year-old son. What's his name?
His name is Anay.
Ane. So I would tell Ane that firstly, it adds excitement to his life. Um, Comparing to a normal cycle, which he may choose, there's a thrill quotient where it's like you put sort of engine on a battery. So, be it him experiencing the pedals and assistance via that, there's a certain thrill. Be it him applying the throttle. Uh, so, if he may do general ride in the evenings or with his friends around, he'll probably end up doing a longer ride and so that thrill, and that's what we experience many times with the guys for the first time when they get on this and they ride it. It's something very unexpected. So
Absolutely, I
for
could
yeah.
feel that. Actually, using an e-bike for the first time, and I'll be very frank. I may be doing a bike after many years, or maybe a decade or so. I have not, but I've been toying the idea of buying a cycle, just to keep fit. And I do a treadmill. Maybe I need a bike too. But being on an e-bike, I actually went on a very long ride, and it gave me it reminded me of the nitro mode. When you are playing some of these games like asphalt and all, where you click on the nitro button and it just boom, it just goes. And then see the look on people's faces. So I am in Noida, and I was actually I was climbing an overbridge without pedaling, and there was this guy in a car who gave me this look, and that bewilderment on his face is like just that did it for me. I was like, wow, that is what I'm looking for. So at the time, you have to have to sell the product. What are the kind of users you're looking at? Because it's not really a cheap bike to buy, right? Like if you compare it even with the expensive bikes, expensive cycles in the market, this is a slightly expensive, even more expensive. So how do you fit this in? Is it for the businessman? Is it for an executive? Is it for how do you fit it in?
I'll answer this question two parts. The first part is when we started this journey 3 years ago, we saw it as a cycling 2.0, the new face of cycling. Taking products, adding a thrill, adding a convenience to it, and sort of seeing that. So this extended to cyclists, like you said, who would consider this as a new face of cycling. We saw a variety of use cases. There could be recreational cyclists who go for weekend rides, evening errands. There could be teens and so on. So there we saw an added convenience, an added thrill, and added excitement. Okay, sort of converting them from the cycle to this. As we went through the journey, now the part two is we saw actually 3 out of 10 customers who are coming and taking this for their everyday commute. Doesn't mean they ride it every day to commute, but they'll probably be motorcycle riders, sharing, car sharing, other people who take this 2 3 times a week to work. So that was an exciting fact. Then we got back to the drawing board, okay, and we truly sort of understood the problems which may exist. And we saw that listen, commute daily is boring. No one wants to go, and they're excited in that part of commute.
Yeah.
Of course, it's congested. It takes time. People are health conscious inherently, be it their diet, be it their everyday life. They want to try and fit in some element of health somewhere. People are, of course, value conscious. Commute, if you see, is expensive, be it maintenance or the capital cost of buying and so on. So we saw this very interesting solution, and we saw another interesting fact: the 70% of rides or journeys which happen around India, everyday journeys. If you see mobility, every guy who gets out, half of India gets out of the house every day, and out of these guys, they travel mostly 20 kilometers. So it's a very short distance journey led mobility, which an average person does. There we saw a very interesting fit for a product which solves some major problems which are there in a society at the back of people's mind and so on. So again, sort of the second sort of reason to purchase this bike could be commute led, which we are seeing is small but could grow, where all these factors are dealt with.
The other thing I wanted to know from you is that a lot of people in the EV space that we have spoken to on this show before, they have mentioned that in a country like India, it will primarily or initially at least be a two-wheeler that brings the EV culture to your home, literally, because there are a lot of logistical issues involved in having a car being charged with a lot of our, I, for instance, stay in an apartment with maybe, 200 homes in the building. So it's very difficult for you to figure out where do you charge your car in an apartment parking, and you have those issues, but those issues sort of go away to a certain extent when you are talking about a two wheeler that can be charged. So are you also looking at this as maybe being the first electric vehicle in a lot of Indian homes?
So two-wheeler, you'll have to now segment that. Okay, your e-scooter, for
Hmm.
example, is the prime choice for a
Yeah.
lot of OEMs and customers. You have e-motorcycles, you have e-cycles. So there's a range of products so far. You've got e-scoots, in fact, something which doesn't have pedals.
Yeah.
Then there's a variety. There's low speed, there's high speed. Within high speed also, there's a variety. Two-wheelers has inherent, innate sort of convenience attached to it, be it sort of agility, be it storage, be it being robust. So definitely is going to come up as a winner, and you're already seeing signs of that. It's the top accepted EV category in the country, showing the highest growth in the years to come. The question here, basis our conversation, would be where would e-cycles play a role in this whole spectrum?
Yeah.
How big, how
Hmm.
medium, how would it be? It's frankly it's anybody's guess, right? But I can only tell you how we've seen the market go and how we are predicting for it to go. We've seen so far, it's a small base. We've roughly reached around 100,000 e-cycles in the country so far this year ending. We as a brand have around 70% share of that. We are seeing this category almost double year on year. So within the whole two-wheeler segment, we are seeing a lot of promise for this. But that promise really goes back to one is aspiration for this category, the true value proposition. So the products, the solutions this category as e-cycles can come out with. So yeah, we have stuff planned, and we believe that these kind of growths are conservative growths, which could happen.
When we talk about Hero as a brand, it's always been a brand that India loves. It's a brand that's just gone everywhere in India. It's recognized everywhere in India. So, are you also looking at taking this segment to a more massy level, making it a little bit more affordable? Is there a budget version of this which is going to come up sometime soon, maybe with a limited range or something?
So firstly, yeah, we really love, appreciate the legacy of Hero. Okay, and it touches large volumes of people. We want to further that promise. While we do that, we are in a new category, a new segment, okay, which at first has early adopters, right? People who are willing to experiment with this new category. I'll tell you the most interesting challenge we have. How do we impact lots of lives, touch large amount of people, where you get back to value consciousness? Okay, so we are always in the price
Yeah,
segment of
yeah,
affordability. But at the same time, how do you create high quality aspirational products? Okay, so here what we're truly doing, is giving the best promise basis an accessible price point, but doing lots of innovation in product communication, go to market to create a cult like feeling with a brand. So how do we not become a massy brand yet are relevant for the masses.
Is that the reason why you have, like, I could see that you have multiple, products already available? It's already becoming that cult feeling where, like, it depends on what fits you. You have an MTB, you have a regular bike. So how are you looking at the entire range?
One way to see it is traditional. Cycling has created certain categories. Okay. But we have seen it in a very authentic manner where we have seen the way the product is used and how can we redefine that and further that. Broadly, we look at it in two major ways. One is fun, okay, which is for the recreational biker. Um, and second is commute, okay, which is for a commuter. Within this, we look at the relevant propositions. Um, so fun is mostly for those sort of weekend goers, the guys who are seeking for major thrill. In fact, the interesting part about e-cycle, many people think that, listen, when you add a battery, then you're not you the cycling experience goes away, right? You have this whole assistance, which is seen as a negative. But if you see the best brands abroad and their usage of e-cycles, there's a big segment of sort of professionals or adrenaline seekers, the Red Bull like sort of enthusiasts who use this, again going back to your talk or the NOS terminology use. So that
Yeah.
very high adrenaline rush when you go off roads and truly experience that jolt. So that's the fun series, right? For basic recreation, for super recreation, sort of a thing. Commute is giving a true sort of great, robust, um, value conscious customer seeking for smart solutions, which really adds to their journeys, to their use of commute. Here also, there are both. We have current low speed solutions. We're looking at higher speed solutions. So to truly sort of do this, let's say there's a segment in commute where you have lots of high rise youngsters who stay in high rises, who commute via public transport. They may require a very easy to park, a super convenient foldable bike. So here we're really seeing how can you create a very compact, light, yet for the value conscious customer who can sort of enjoy commute and it adds value to their lives. So these are the two ways we see our products based on the use cases. And just an overlay, we really sort of believe that with regards to choice, less is more. So rather than loading it up with multiple SKUs, multiple options,
Yeah.
we're really sort of consolidating it to as less as
Mhm.
possible. But each product should cater to a massively different customer, offering a very different, significantly different promise. So that's how we look at products.
The other thing I wanted to learn from you is the awareness around a segment like this, right? Like, and also, again, as you said, commute, and commute, for this kind of a user, it's very common abroad, right? Like, if you go to the US, Australia, everywhere you would see, like, even a company CEO who would cycle to work, take a cycle, maybe even to his cabin, and go back in a cycle. But in India, that's still, cycling to work is maybe a very geeky thing to do. So, is there an awareness component to what you're doing? Is there a cultural change? Maybe it's already happening in India. I'm sure, because cycling becoming such a big activity for a lot of users, especially in the urban environments. Is there a cultural change that's happening? Is there a little bit of prodding that you guys need to do to get it moving?
You truly ask me internally, of course. So I'll always say that lots more can be done. Giving you a true objective, sort of see now you look at premium cycles in India. And premium cycles, you
Hmm.
may talk about those clients who buy premium cycles in India are inspired from the West and the Western culture. That is growing 20% plus year on year. You look at this category of e-cycles, that's grown 100% year on year and reached the base where we are today. This can only happen once there is an increase of awareness based on the right sort of customer audiences. So there is sort of awareness there. Now, can it be more awareness? Of course. Can we reach towards the point where you see a true sort of sort of western like cities where there's pedestrian friendly roads, where people are cycling, where offices are cycling friendly? You're seeing snippets of that in different hubs around different cities. But to see a massive change, massive cultural change, it's really sort of marrying the infrastructure, the safety, the laws for pedestrians, for cyclists with this. Now, is it happening? Yes, smart cities and so on are great initiatives. So, of course, if you talk to policymakers also, they want to go the green way. They want to go to a much healthier, much lesser decongestion lifestyle. So the forces are there, but again, you have a big legacy of a motorway-led sort of mobility promise. So when this will happen, how this will happen is again got to wait and watch.
The other interesting part of the e-bike experience for me was how it's a connected experience, right? It's, you also have an app that connects to that connects the bike to a smartphone. So how are you looking around this connected experience? Are there other things that users could expect here? A lot of your community building, for instance, could happen on the app. Are these things that you are looking at?
So we balance here, okay? We want to make this product, again, we see it from the value to the customer. We truly sort of put ourselves in the customer's avatar and see how can we add value to his or her life basis that usage. Now, if a smartness is required, okay, is how we look at it. Let's talk about cargo, okay? Now we look at the cargo value for conscious. Okay, the first thing for that customer is this is his or her means to livelihood. So the basic essential we have to meet is truly make a product which has a better total cost of ownership, so where they can earn more through this product. So they're being robust, we're giving them the relevant range, storage. Those are the essentials. Now we look at the problems this customer may face. Now, tracking, theft of the product, um, maybe preventive maintenance, ensuring that something doesn't go wrong. They know before it does. So then we look at their problems, and then we look at the sort of digital tools available or the smart tools available to solve that. So we look at smartness with the relevance to balancing, giving them. So that's actually one of the hardest parts to me. How do we not make a product so dumb, not over smart, to truly balance
Yeah.
that need? So that is for that customer. Now you could also see super smart products coming with sort of snippets of artificial intelligence. But that is again for, let's say, the super enthusiastic recreational customer, or the super commuter we look at. So for different people, we look at it different ways.
So thanks a lot for being on the show, Aditya. It is very insightful, conversation about a segment that's really new and is maybe going to become a big part of all our lives. You are listening to Aditya Munjal, who is CEO of Hero Lectro, the e-bike segment of Hero. Thank you, Aditya, for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Take care. Nice talking to you.
And we'll be back with another episode next week. And our podcast is available everywhere you listen to your pod.